Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
See, in the last lecture, we have started with the convergence of the sequence in topology. Okay, what was the definition? The sequence xn is said to converge to a point x if for all open set G containing that point x. What is the condition? For all n greater equal by n, we should have the condition that xn belongs to G. It is very similar to the definition which we have seen in the real analysis. What is a change? Sn belongs to L minus epsilon to L plus epsilon. Instead of having the open set, we have a open interval for all n greater equal by n. And after that, we have seen one example in which a topology is defined by phi union an, where an is a nothing but which runs from n plus 1 and so on. Is an is nothing but n plus 1, n plus 2, and so on. So after that, I have shown you that how to prove it has a limit point. So we have considered the sequence xn and we have proved k is a limit point for that. Okay? Is the idea clear up to this? Any doubt for this one?
No, ma'am.
See, we have done this with the help of taking x10, x100. Then we have found all the open sets containing the point k. What is k in this case? We have considered 10 or we have considered it is 100. So after that we have found some AR, which AR is nothing but your G, which with the help of this we have found that xn is converging to k. Okay. Now the important point that we are going to see now is what we have told that your x10, if x10 is a sequence or x10 we have considered, and if we are saying that xn converges to k, right? The open sets containing k are, we have written the open sets containing k are a1, a2. Suppose I have considered k to be 100 and a10. Out of a10s, we have considered say a5 is a open set G. Now, with the help of that open set G, we have considered this to be AR in the last lecture. So, we have proved Xn, that is a sequence n, because we have considered Xn to be n. Okay, then the sequence Xn converges to k. What is k in this case? It is 10. Right? Now, instead of considering 10, I can consider some other number. Suppose I have considered here 11. Right? Suppose I have considered up to a11, and out of them I have considered again a5, because out of all those open set I can consider one of them. Again I can have a 11. Right? So the same sequence, just now we have proved it converges to 10, then we have proved it converges to 11, right? But if you remember in the real analysis, we have proved that any converging sequence converges to unique limit point. Yes, anyone remember this?
Yes, ma'am.
But here we are saying by definition, first we have proved that your sequence xn converges to 10, then we have proved it converges to 11, and rather I can prove for 12, 13, and so on, because I just want to increase the number of sets, right? I can say that a sequence may converges to say a11 is there now, so here 11, here it is 12, a13. So out of all those open set I have to select at least one open set which contain uh, that AR. Okay, out of all those open set G, we are going to select the point such that X is a limit point. No? So that's why instead of X, we have a K is a limit point by definition. So X is replaced by K and open set G is replaced by AR. And this AR is nothing but your A5 in this case. Okay. Now this A5 is also sufficient for all type of sets. I can consider any number of sets. Suppose I consider A100. Out of all the A100 sets, I have selected A5. So I can say this same sequence xn will converge to 100. Are you getting me? Hello? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what you have to do, simply you have to say that you have to first select the sets, and out of them you have to select at least one open set which contain that point k. Now k is what? K may be 10, 11, 12, 100, it may be any number. So now I am saying that the same sequence xn is converging to different limit points. But what is there in real analysis? Any sequence, if it is convergent, it always converges to unique limit point. जर एक पेक्षा जास्त लिमिट पॉइंट असेल तर त्याला कॉन्वर्जन म्हणतो का आपण?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
So just like the sequence, oscillatory sequence, it may be oscillating anywhere. The sequence we can say sine of 1 upon x, right? It is oscillating sequence, right? Just like the famous example minus 1 raised to n. This is also oscillating sequence. If it is having more than one limit point, then it is not a convergent. But in this case, in topology, we are saying that any sequence, if it converges, it may have a different limit point. Okay, by this example itself, we can be sure that for any sequence, it doesn't mean that in the topology it has a unique limit point. But no doubt, in the topology also we are going to have a unique limit point, but only in the T2 space. Okay, that we will prove in the later on that our T2 space is having that property that any converging sequence will converge to a unique limit point. Is the idea clear up to this one?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So we can write the remark about this one as the sequence xn converges to any point k in the topological space x2, and then we can say that the converging sequence need not converge to a unique limit point. Converging sequence need not converge to unique limit point. Converging sequence need not converge to a unique limit point. Okay, and for this one you can give a last example in which we have shown that the same sequence can converge to any numbers. Okay, you may have some confusion because up to now we have proved that any sequence will converge to a unique limit point if it is convergent. But just try to understand the thing. No doubt I am knowing that you are having the internal and you are studying those internal papers, right? But whenever you are going to study this one, try to write down in terms of those sets A1, A2, A3. Try to run it on actual practical sessions. Just like you have to take a number k as some 10, 12, 13, whatever maybe number you want to take. And then you have to try it and you will get the result. Okay. So don't be confused or don't take attention. You have to appear for internal as well as you have to attend the lectures also. Later on when you are going to study, then you have to work it on taking some practical examples. Okay, now let us go for the next theorem. In T2 space, any converging sequence converges to a limit point. That is, we are going to say that it has a unique limit point. In a T2 space, any converging sequence in a T2 space, any converging sequence converges to unique limit point. Okay, for that, what we have to start with? We have to start with the consideration that we have been provided X2 is a T2 space. Okay, in the T2 space, we have to say that the sequence Xn converges to a unique limit point. Let us assume that Xn be the sequence. And what is our aim to prove that? We have to prove that the sequence Xn converges to a unique limit point. We have to say that the sequence Xn converges to a unique limit point. Okay. Now, what is given to us in this case? X2 is a T2 space. Now, if it is given that X2 is a T2 space, we have to use this condition of a T2 space. When we can use a condition of a T2 space, when we can find out two different points, right? Because in every separation exams, in every TI space, we have to start the consideration with the two different limit point. Okay, sorry, with the two different point. If we are having two distinct point, then only we can use the definition of a T2 space. But if suppose you want to prove T2 space, then you have to start with the two different point and prove that you have a two different open set. Okay, so now if I want to use a definition of a T2 space, then what we will do to prove that Xn has a unique limit point. So we will consider, if possible, assume that Xn has two limit points. Okay, what is our aim to prove? It has a unique limit point, but we will assume that suppose it has a two limit point. We will assume that the sequence Xn has a two limit point, right? So somewhere you are going to get a contradiction, as we are going to prove that Xn has a unique limit point. So let us assume that the sequence Xn converges to X1, as well as let us assume that the sequence Xn converges to X2. Now if we are saying that the sequence Xn converges to two different limit point and X1, X2, no doubt they will belongs to your universal set, right? We are having only one universal set, say X. So now if we are saying that X1 and X2 are the two different limit point, I can say X1 is not equal to X2.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So now we can use the definition of a T2 space. But since X2 is a T2 space, so if X2 is a T2 space, we can use the definition of a T2 space. I can write here there exists the open set G and H. Rather, we can say they are disjoint open set. The intersection of them is empty. So X1, we can say X1 belongs to G. And another, we can consider X1 belongs to G. And another, we are going to consider X2 belongs to H, like this. And X1 does not belongs to H and X2 does not belongs to G. Okay. Now, whatever we have written just now, we have written that the sequence Xn converges to a X1. Then, what do you mean by the sequence Xn converges to X1? We can say that we have the X1 belongs to G for all open set G containing the point X1. There exists a natural number n1 such that which satisfy the condition Xn belongs to G for all n greater equal by n1. And what do you mean by the sequence Xn converges to X2? Right? The sequence Xn converges to X2, which means that we have the open set H now, which contain the point X2, and Xn belongs to H for all n. Now it will have some different number n2, right? For all there exists a natural number n2 belongs to n, right? So that's why we have written the definition itself. Okay, what do you mean by Xn converges to X1? That we have written the definition. And what do you mean by Xn converges to X2? Which we have written with the sum another open set. Okay. So with the help of this, now I can write, we have the two natural numbers n1 and n2, correct? Now out of these two natural number, let me select the one natural number n, which is maximum of n1 and n2. Now can anyone tell me the reason why we are going to select the maximum? Say suppose your sequence Xn is there, which is converging to X1 and for a natural number n1. After n1 and onwards, all the terms of the sequence lie in the open set G, right? And after n2 and onwards, all the terms of the sequence lie in the open set H, right? This is what a sequence Xn, and all of the terms after n1 lie in the set G, open set G, and all the terms of the sequence after n2 will lie in the some open set H. But this is not possible since we are provided that intersection of G and H is a empty set. If intersection is empty, I can draw the image as the sequence converges to G, and another one, the same sequence will converge to some H, right? So for that, we are going to select out of N1 and N2, we will select a maximum among them. Okay, one of them will be a maximum among N1 and N2. So after that N1 or N2, whichever may be the maximum, after N1 or N2, we will show that all the terms of the sequence will go in either G or H. Is the idea clear up to this?
Yes, ma'am.
Because the natural number n1 is important, because after n1 we say that all the terms of the sequence will converge to x1 and all the terms of the sequence will converge to x2. So now we can say xn belongs to G for all n greater equal by n, and similarly I can write xn belongs to H for all n greater equal by n, right? Which means if xn is a common terms of G and H, I can say xn belongs to G as well as H. But what is our assumption? G intersection H is a empty set, which is contradiction, since if we are saying that xn is a common term between G and H, it cannot be empty. And hence this contradiction arises due to the wrong assumption that x1 and x2 are the two different points. So what will be the right assumption? X1 is equal to x2, which implies that xn, the sequence xn will converge to one limit point, say x1 or x2, because we are saying that x1 is equal to x2. Okay. Now if you remember, in the last lectures we have proved that our metric space xt is a T2 space, as well as we have proved it is a T1 space. Okay, metric space XD, as well as we have proved for a usual topology. Usual topology is T1, T2, as well as a metric space XT is T1 as well as T2. Those who remember, we have divided the distance R in the three parts, R by 3. Correct? For
Yes,
proving
ma'am.
it to be T2 space, and for proving T1, we have proved the distance we have divided in the two equal parts R by 2. Right? So as they are T2 and T1 space, so we can say in a metric space, any converging sequence converges to unique limit point. This we have already studied in the BSc, that in metric space have a, if it has any convergent sequence, it will converge to a unique limit point. So that's why we can say that your usual metric space as well as the metric space which is induced by one metric which is defined initially in the initial lectures, we have proved that any metric space is a topological space. So in the usual topology, as it is a T2 space, so it will have a unique limit point. Okay, so we can write this as a remark. In the matrix space xt, any converging sequence converges to unique limit point, as well as in our usual topological space, it has a unique limit. Let us go for the next theorem. In this theorem, we have xt be any t space. Let xt be any t space. Let E be the any subset of x. The sequence xn is a converging sequence which converges to distinct points of E. If xn converges to x, then prove that x is a limit point of E. Okay? We have to prove that x is a limit point of the set E. Prove that xn is a converging sequence which converges to distinct points of E. Okay, it is given that it converges to distinct points of E, and if xn converges to x, then prove that x is a limit point of E. Let me write down what is given to us. Okay, first x2 is a T space. That means it will satisfy the four properties. And we are provided E is any subset of X. And the sequence Xn converges to distinct points of E. And if we say that Xn converges to X, which implies that X is a limit point of E. I hope everyone knowing the definition of a limit point.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So to prove that X is a limit point of E, that is to prove that X belongs to derived set of E. Okay, now don't consider this limit point is a limit point of that sequence. Okay, first हमको क्या prove करना है? X belongs to D of E. That we have studied initial lectures. The how to prove any point to be a limit point for all open set G containing G intersection E minus the point X is non-empty. Okay, after proving this theorem, you will come to understand that what we have proved actually. यहाँ पे हमने क्या लिखा है? Xn is converging to distinct points of E, right? Initially, they have provided that Xn will converge to distinct points of E because it is not a T2 space. Because if it is a T2 space, it will converge to a unique limit point, right? So that's why they have provided us that the Xn will converge to distinct points of E. But if suppose the sequence Xn will converge to the point X, it is only possible if X is a limit point of E. राइट अगर हम कह रहे हैं कि एक्सन ये कॉन्वर्ज हो रहा है एक यूनिक लिमिट पॉइंट पे सो दैट लिमिट पॉइंट मस्ट बी देयर इन डी ऑफ ई एक्स बिलोंग्स टू डिराइव्ड सेट ऑफ ई ओके
Yes, ma'am.
there are two different concepts we are proving xn will converge to a unique limit it is about the convergence of a sequence and here we are going to prove X belongs to derived set of E. Okay, for the set we have a different definition of a limit point. For the sequence we have a different definition. बरोबर ना?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If I want to prove that X belongs to derived set of E, that is to prove that G intersection E minus singleton X is non-empty. Okay. So we have given that Xn converges to X, right? The sequence Xn converges to X. Then what it implies by definition of a convergence? In the last lecture we have seen the definition, no? For all open set G containing the point X, for all n greater equal by n, Xn belongs to G. That means after Nn onwards, all the terms of your sequence will belongs to the open set G, which implies the Xn will converge to the point X. Okay. Simply we have written the definition of Xn converges to X. Now what is our aim to prove? Our aim is to prove that G intersection E minus the point X is non-empty. Yes, how to prove this one? We have one consideration, X belongs to G. But whether X will also belongs to E?
Yes, ma'am.
How you will be assured? Because that is what our aim to prove, na? X belongs to derived set of E. Okay. What is given to
Xn
us?
converges to distinct points of E, na, ma'am?
Right. Xn converges to distinct points of E. And what is given? Xn is converging, Xn is a sequence in E. Which means that Xn will belongs to E also.
Yes, ma'am.
So I am saying that Xn belongs to G as well as E. So I can write the intersection of G and E minus singleton X is non-empty because G and E both have at least one point other than X. because it has many terms of your sequence. Xn is one sequence, no? And we are saying that all the terms of the sequence after nn onwards, they belongs to the set G. And xn is a sequence in E itself. तो सभी पॉइंट्स जो सीक्वेंस के वो ई में है और आफ्टर एन एन ऑनवर्ड्स ऑल द टर्म्स ऑफ द सीक्वेंस बिलोंग्स टू द सेट जी. That means the both set G and E have many common points. Rather, we can say infinitely many common points. So that we can say G intersection E minus the singleton X is non-empty, which implies by definition itself we can say X is a limit point of E, and which implies X belongs to derived set of E. So now I hope you will get the idea that if we are saying that xn converges to X, then X should be a limit point. That means this X should belongs to derived set of E, then only the sequence will converge to that point. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubt up to this one? Because now onwards we are going to start the new point, that is a regular space. Okay. If not, let us go for the next point, that is a regular space. Let X2 be a T space. For definition of regular space, X2 is a T space. X2 is said to be a regular space if any closed set F in X such that, right? X2 is said to be a regular space for any closed set F in X. Okay, any closed set means what? It must belongs to the family K, such that X does not belongs to F. Then there exists the open set G and H belongs to tau, such that X belongs to G, F is contained in H, and G intersection H is empty. Okay. So what is the definition? First we have a T space, then we have one closed set such that X does not belongs to F. Okay, we have one closed set which does not contain one point X. Then there exist two different open set. One open set contain the point, another open set contain the closed set. Okay, so this condition X belongs to G and another open set contain the closed set. And what is the consideration? The two different open sets are completely disjoint. Okay? Have you understood what is a regular space?
Yes, ma'am.
First, it is a T space, then we have a closed set which does not contain the point X. Then, if we are able to find out two different open set, rather we can say two disjoint open set. And if we say two disjoint open set, no need to write the condition G intersection H is empty. Okay. Then, if we are able to find out two disjoint open set which satisfy the condition that it contains X, that means one open set contain the point X, another open set contain the closed set. Now let us go for the particular examples. First one, we are going to see discrete T space. Okay, what is there in the discrete T space? Tau is equal to power set of X. So we have tau is equal to power set of X. Then every subset of X is closed open. We know that tau is equal to power set of X is equal to family K. Okay, so as we are saying that every subset is closed as well as open, let us consider F be the any subset of X which is closed, such that we have to consider one point X which does not belongs to F. So obviously I can say X belongs to the complement of that set.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you are saying F is a closed set, its complement must be an open set.
Yes, ma'am.
Rather, in our topology, in which we are having a discrete topological space, all the sets are open as well as closed set. By this condition, I can say the singleton X is not a subset of F. And one more condition from this, I can write singleton X intersection with F is empty. Right? Barobar na?
Yes, ma'am.
So I can consider this to be the open set G which contain the point X, and F itself is an open set as well as closed set. So I can consider this to be H. This contain the point X, this contain the closed set F. And no doubt the intersection is empty, G intersection H is empty, that is singleton X intersection with F is empty set. Got me? Because F is open as well as closed in the discrete T space. Singleton X is also member of tau as well as it is a member of a K. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So hence we can say that we got the two different open set. One contain the point X and another contain the closed set. The F is closed as well as open, so itself we can consider it to be open as well as closed set. Now the second example is about indiscrete T space. Now what is there in the indiscrete T space? 2 is equal to phi and x. Now how many open sets and closed set we have? 2 only, because phi and x both are open as well as closed set. Now let us consider what is guaranteed open set which does not contain the point x?
Phi.
Phi. So we can say x does not belongs to phi. Okay, x does not belongs to the phi. So if you are saying that x does not belongs to phi, F is a closed set. Now F is a closed set which we can consider to be phi. Now can you find out the open set, two different open set which contain the point x and another contain the closed set? Is it possible to find out two different open set? Okay, just tell me what is guaranteed
No,
open
ma'am.
set which contain the point x,
Capital
X
X.
itself.
and what is a guaranteed closed set which contain the phi?
Phi.
Phi itself.
Phi itself is a guaranteed open set which contains a phi, and both are disjoint. X intersection phi is a disjoint, and hence we got the open sets. What is the open set? G is nothing but your x which contain the point x, and F is a closed set which is phi, and phi is a open set G which contained in the phi itself, and hence G intersection H is a empty set. Okay. So in this way we can say discrete T space as well as indiscrete T space both are regular spaces. Okay. So in discrete T space as well as discrete T space we have proved they are a regular spaces. Okay. समझते का?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone else having a problem? Any doubt related to regular space, convergence of sequence, limit point, and the theorem which we have proved that if x n converges to x should be there in the derived set of E. Okay, there are two different concepts. One is a convergence of a sequence, and then we have proved x is a limit point. This limit point doesn't mean that we are going to prove it as a limit point of a sequence. Okay, क्या प्रूव करना है हमको? X belongs to derived set of E. Okay, and what we have proved here, the discrete space and indiscrete space both are regular spaces. And what is the definition of a regular space? We have one closed set F which does not contain the point X. Then if we are able to find out two different open set, which satisfy the condition that one contain the one point, another contain the closed set. Okay. If you are not having doubt, we will see this example in the next lecture because it takes somewhat extra time to cover. Thank you. You can leave the meeting.